Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Duda Rock Albert.
Hey now! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 19. Still Got Game is the official podcast of ToolToPlay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I, of course, am Joel, a dude. I rock Albert.
Well, we're coming off an off week here.
Yeah.
And it was an important off week. But it's given us a little bit more time to get down to what we're going to be talking about today. And in excess, if you will.
Right. We got a bunch of shit to cover. Everyone's had time to play their new consoles, their Xboxes, and of course their PS4s. For everyone that's joining us in chat, we are not doing anything for WildStar tonight. So even though we are labeled as WildStar, we are not doing anything for WildStar tonight. So if you're talking about beta keys or things of the like, there are no beta keys here. And just so you know, since I actually know a bunch of those guys, they're not giving away beta keys at all until they announce the December stuff that they're doing. I think late December is when their beta is going to actually go down. So if you're in chat right now, no beta keys, nothing about WildStar. If you want to talk about video games with us, feel free to stay. If not, thank you for coming.
WildStar will be here again at some point. It will be on this channel again at some point, just not tonight.
Not tonight.
It's Still Got Game live with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dulare Rock Albert. So fucking enjoy it. All right, well, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the show, we're going to start with feedback from last week's show. Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Dark Matter comments. I loved your Xbox One episode. Got me even more excited for the launch. Also, I appreciated your technical discussion of 720p versus 1080p when it came to anti-aliasing and other settings. In 5 minutes, you cleared up a month of confusion.
Good.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome, Dark Matter. That's what we do. We take misinformation and we provide you our own version of misinformation that sounds smarter.
Exactly. We pretend we know the exact answer and we falsify documents and the like to make it sound like we know what we're talking about. In this case, though, we do know what we're talking about. Just so you guys know.
This is one case that we told something that was the truth.
Right.
Not like when we said we're going to play WildStar later.
No, that's a total lie.
That was a complete fabrication.
Total fabrication.
But someday, WildStar will be on this channel again.
I am, obviously, everyone knows, for WildStar, I'm super into it. So you will see it on the channel regardless of if we do a show about it. So don't worry about it.
One way or another, you're covered.
Yep.
All right, and Vicky comments. Another funny episode. You guys are a riot. Thanks for the laughs and all the good info. Oh, you're welcome, Vicky.
No problem, Vicky.
You're really welcome.
Yeah, Vicky.
That's right. We gave you all the info. That's what we do. We give you the laughs and the info. That's what we're all about. And I'm glad that you found the episode humorous because it was meant to be dead serious. Dead serious.
Dead serious. Dead serious.
Not really.
Not really.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I guess last but not least in feedback, our good friend Acid Snow gave us a call, and I'll roll that call now.
Hey, guys. I just saw a post on Neograph, and it says here that a user got banned for swearing while using Skype on the Xbox One. Apparently, it's only a 24-hour ban, but if this current post is accurate, what do you guys think of that? Like, banning a user for 24 hours and not being able to use maybe possibly Xbox Live Gold. You'll have to maybe double check the post. But anyway, take care, guys.
All right.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's obviously 100% fake.
Right.
So, first off, there's so many reasons why this is fake and why it would never happen. But just the nature of Skype alone doesn't just allow someone to listen in on your calls. Otherwise, no one would use Skype. Like, there's even been questions whether the NSA had requested that there be hooks put in Skype so they could listen in and do that sort of thing because it was all encrypted and they didn't like that. So the fact that Microsoft could just arbitrarily man in the middle of all your shit is ludicrous.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever found out that Microsoft was listening, well, they might be listening to your shit. We can all pretend.
They would be listening from the Kinect directly, not from
Skype. Correct. And if that's the case, They would never want to announce that or make that known because no one would ever buy their product. That'd be a huge problem. So to like,
people have enough problems with the Kinect.
Right.
They're like, oh my God, it's watching and listening. Like
Yes,
if they were like,
exactly.
hey, we heard you and we saw you.
not only are we watching and listening, but we don't want you to say fuck. God damn it, you're banned. That is totally like for this story to even get out and have someone believe it seems very odd to me in and of itself. I mean, obviously it would be a PR nightmare and everyone would like be smashing their Xboxes with hammers and like, we'd go caveman style and be like, listen to me while I masturbate. And you would just hit that motherfucker all day long. I don't know why I brought masturbating into it, but sometimes I like to do that in front of my Kinect just to see if it's watching.
Yeah.
Just to see.
I guess if you do the weirdest possible fucking sexual thing,
Right.
then you really know.
Right.
That's the only point you can guarantee that someone would have stepped in with your caveman.
If you get like a weird motion going on and your Xbox just turns on, that's it's watching. And now it's recording. Once you see that.
It's like, whoa, we're missing
like,
this.
whoa.
Kick it up. Fire it up.
You've
now.
got her like upside down on the chair? Oh, Xbox, record that.
Someone recording this?
Xbox, record that. Yeah, no. Don't worry about it. You're safe. Ish.
So obviously totally fake. If any of you have feedback, you can always weigh in yourselves. 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooledtoplay.com. And in lieu of site-related news this week, we're just going to talk all about our Xbox One and PS4 thoughts, pros, cons, overall impressions. Now we've had a chance. Before the last episode we had our PS4s for, I think, 3 days because it was just a weekend. So now we've had those for 10 days. We've had those for 17 days.
Yeah. Wow.
No,
Yeah.
10 days.
No.
Yeah.
Have we only had the Xbox for a couple days? No.
We've only had the Xbox for 4 days. No, because
That's not possible. So it has to be 17 days.
Yeah, so that was 17 days. We had the Xbox for
10-ish.
8 days.
Yeah.
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 All right. So we're definitely balls deep
We're
in
good.
both these things.
Yeah, our nuts are on top.
All right. So how do you want? You just want to say your pros and cons? You want to pick one, do one then the other? You want
I'll
to
start with
compare and
Xbox
contrast?
because I think a lot of people consider us like the fanboys of Xbox. So I want to dispel some of those rumors because I do have some major problems with it.
right.
I think the console's good. I think as a game console, it's okay. What I don't like is basically how much they've stripped out what we've had for 7 years. Accessing your friends list is a fucking pain in my ass. Why they got rid of the quick guide to get to my friends, message them, why there's no voice messaging, why party chat seems to be so fucked up I can't even get a party together, why I have to go through this arbitrary thing of Xbox, snap to this, and now I got to bring up my party and get my party together, Xbox on Snap. It's like, fuck you. I want to get in, I want to get out, I want to talk to my friends. So the gaming aspect, playing video games, seems a little secondary to the other stuff. Now, having said that, the other stuff makes it completely worth an extra $100. I mean, I understand that people are wondering what's the value between Xbox One and Sony PS4. I get it. It's $100 difference. I will say, just walking into a room, telling my Xbox to turn on, having it turn on my stereo, my cable box, my TV all at once, then having it know that it's me, boot me into my screen, and having me say play Call of Duty is fucking amazing. I don't care if the NSA is watching or not. It's totally fine. Watch me jack off. I don't care. It's worth my convenience for the NSA to be watching me because it's super fucking convenient. So pros, obviously the entertainment section. I'm trying to keep it short because I know we have a limited time. So pros, definitely entertainment, the cable TV stuff, recording, getting into Twitch, all those things are nice and seamless, moving between menus. Cons, again, having this sort of, stripped down version of Friends is weird. And then at the same time, having the ability to have 1,000 friends almost means like, oh, so now I have less ways to get to a shit ton more friends that I never had. That's fucked up. And then also, finally, the menus are just as slow as they were for Xbox 360. And I find that to be ridiculous at this day and age. That's only because if I'm going to compare it to Sony PS4, which is so snappy, it's unbelievable fast. There's a problem there as well. So that's it for Xbox. Now, how do you feel about Xbox so far?
All right. So some of that I agree with. And some of this you don't notice until you go to use it. I hadn't gone to send a voice message until last night. And then I realized that there was no way to do it. And I was like, wow, that's pretty fucked up. That's gone. So obviously, entertainment stuff, huge plus. Walking in the room, Xbox on, everything happens. Multiple people in the room. like we have 2 Xbox Ones in the house. We had all 6 of us were here over the weekend. Everybody has their profiles. People are walking in the room. It says, "Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Derek." It says whoever comes in, it recognizes you, knows you're there. If you pick up a controller, it links that controller to you. So now it because each controller is sending out a unique IR pattern out of the back of it, so that the Kinect is picking that up. So it knows who has what controller. So if you're playing a game and you hand it to someone else, now it links that controller with that person. Super awesome.
Yes.
I didn't experience the menu slowness you experienced.
What?
I did experience the menu seemed nice and snappy.
Oh, wow.
I did experience the annoyance of the party Xbox on Snap until I started to learn the quick controls with the controller and with the hand gestures. There's all kinds of shit you can do to pop stuff up and get rid of stuff quick. And that's really the key. And also the other key is pinning stuff to the left of your dash that you're going to use a lot, because if you don't pin something, some stuff is buried 20 levels deep and you can never fucking find it.
Yeah, the apps are especially some very difficult. I mean, it's really simple. Like you said, you just pin it and you're done. But, starting out, it's kind of like, how do I do all this? I still think, even with what you're saying, hand gestures, all this stuff aside, Friends are buried way too. Friends should be integrated with the gaming experience, and it is separate. Completely separate.
But certain games have taken advantage of that. Call of Duty,
Call of Duty's yes, right.
You're in Call of Duty. You hit the Y button to bring up your friends list. You hit a friend and it says invite to party. You invite to party. It doesn't just invite them to a Call of Duty party. It creates your fucking Xbox Snapped party over the side and invites them to that. And you can have parties for the first time where you don't have to chat with people. So maybe you're enjoying playing with some guys, but you don't want to fucking talk to them. You're just like, hey, we had some good games. Let's keep rolling. You invite them in. You don't have to turn on that chat if you don't want to. It's not on by default. So it annoyed me at first until I realized why they did that. And so it's an annoyance, but it's a necessity. Now, the biggest annoyance to me was as someone that plays with a headset all the time. There's still problems getting 5.1 audio out of the Xbox via optical cables. There's no default headset adapter to use your third-party headsets like my Astros. So I actually had to do the controller mod to the built-in headset. I tore that apart. Now mine has a 2.5 millimeter jack that I plug my Astros in. It works beautifully. Tiff has the same thing I did for her. And my buddy, Mr. GMMS, I walked him through it over the phone. He did his last night. Everybody was up and running. So much nicer than trying to use the Kinect. Granted, the Kinect does work for chat. It's just not the most ideal method in a house where you might have kids sleeping. You have other people around. I'm downstairs. Tiff's upstairs. Like sometimes you just want the headset and use the boom mic, and that not having that adapter out at launch was a huge shortcoming. Even if they wanted to, really the adapter that's out just has, it's that adapter that we're going to get. It just has a hardwired headset to it. Why not just make the real adapter with the connector and, make the headset have the plug that goes into it. Make it a 2-piece thing. And that way you were covered either way. Yeah. But it's so they can sell it later.
Yeah. And people are talking in chat about the hand gestures and all that stuff. And it's gimmicky and all this. That's totally true, and a lot of people have a big argument that I've heard is, well, you can do almost all this stuff with a PC as well. But again, that's not the point. I don't want to build that PC. I don't want to deal with that, and you really can't get the experience with the Kinect through a PC anyway. I mean, you could hack it. You could hack the Kinect if you want to. Surely, if you want to do that, you can. But again, this is well outside that realm. For someone that does not currently have the Xbox One, I would really suggest you find one, play it, get into it. If your whole idea is, well, I don't care, I just want to boot up and play a video game, then by all means, I don't think the Xbox One is for you. The extra $100 you're spending, for $100 more, what you get in terms of entertainment value outside of gaming is so much more bang for your fucking buck. It's fucking ridiculous.
If you're one of these naysayers and you have a friend that has an Xbox One, go to their house and just experience it once. And you think that all these things are little kitschy novelties. And I thought the same thing. I'm going to be able to talk to my Xbox and this and that. Sometimes, you're on the couch and you have a whole bunch of people in the room and, somebody's trying to say something. You're like, Xbox mute. And before you know it, the Xbox is fucking muted. You don't have to worry about a thing. And then you're like, Xbox unmute, and it comes right back to where you were. Or, you're like, hey, Xbox, what's on Discovery Channel? And all of a sudden it pops up the one guide and shows you what's on Discovery Channel. These are things that you don't have to dig through your remote. You don't even have to find the remote. You can literally come into your room, have a whole TV watching experience, And most of us don't flip through channels. You're going to go to like your favorite 4 or 5 channels. You're going to fucking turn off the TV. You want to just put something on during dinner. Sometimes I'm in the kitchen. I can be like Xbox on and put on whatever channel I want while I'm cooking in the kitchen and not even have to go in that room, not find a remote, not do anything. The convenience of it alone is so worth that $100. I can't even, I can't overstate it enough.
Yeah, and again, it all comes down to what you want with your money. We both own both systems. I own a PS4 and I own an Xbox One. For the money, if you're looking for pure gaming, save the $100. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Play a PS4. It has one of the best interfaces I've ever seen Sony come out with. It's ridiculously snappy. Getting in and out of games is great. I had some problems in the beginning when it first came out, but just like the Xbox One with friends and stuff like that. So there were cons there. But again, as a raw gaming rig, very raw, I mind you, because again, my cons of the PS4 are that they don't have LAN streaming currently with video, movie files, and music, and a bunch of other features that they stripped out as well. So they're not they're not shining angels in this at all either. But yeah, that's a perfect system for you. I don't use my cable box ever. So people have been saying like, well, what if you don't have TV? I don't think it matters. Like the convenience alone of navigating through that system, for Netflix, for Hulu, or just getting from menu to menu, worth it. So that's if you've got an extra $100 and you want to be a baller in your neighborhood, I would get an Xbox One. If you want to play video games and you want to just strictly stick to that kind of thing, Sony. If you want to be amazing like me and Derek, both.
Well, speaking of both, what? So now on the PS4, actually, before we move to the PS4, so I'll segue over since you said streaming. That was the one big thing. Xbox came out of the gate first, said, "Hey, we're in bed with Twitch TV. Sony's doing this bullshit proprietary thing. We're going to let you stream everything." Well, that's not their day one. So none of us are streaming anything on the Xbox at the moment.
Right.
You can save your clips and upload them after, but there's no live streaming.
Right.
Now, Sony, on the other hand, they came late to that game. They're like, "Whoa, Xbox is with Twitch. We'll do Twitch." Their live streaming works amazing. You hit one button. We talked about this a little bit the last episode. You're on, you're streaming. It is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Now, shortcomings of the PS4, game-wise, we have Injustice, Gods Among Us, Ultimate Edition. There were 6 of us in the room, and we were taking turns. It was like we were doing the winner continues type of gameplay.
Right.
Huge downside of this system is it's really easy because we only have 2 controllers. We don't have a shitload of controllers yet. So one person signs out because it's not like the Xbox. It doesn't know who it's passing to. So you sign out, then you sign in the other person. The problem is as soon as you sign out the person that started the game, the next person has to reload the game. It's like, oh, this game was started by Electrify. You need to restart this game. So then you have to start the game from scratch again instead of just popping right back into software that's already running. Yeah. So that's something a lot of people won't notice if you're only playing yourself or maybe with one other person. But as soon as you have a whole bunch of people and people are signing in and out, that is a huge waste of time.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is because they've stripped it down. I mean, it is literally gaming for a lot of the conveniences of the PS4 are completely non-existent. I mean, or of the PS3 are non-existent in the PS4, which I find odd. And again, I'm not harping on either of these systems because it's so fucking early in the game to draw a conclusion before you've either A, purchased it and played it, which these are the people that I want to just slap in the face. If you're going to come to me and say the Xbox One looks stupid or the PS4 is a piece of shit, shut the fuck up unless you own it. Play it and then tell me. But on top of that, we're at day 19 for 17 for one, 10 for the other. We just fucking started this bitch. Like we're just starting. So all of these things will be ironed out at some point, and then we can get down to the raw, gaming side of things. So
yeah, there's gonna be patches left and right to
totally.
these.
I mean, they're gonna go nuts.
There's already been 2 to the PS4, since it launched.
Yeah, and I've actually been surprised that there hasn't been another one for the Xbox. We've got obviously the original launch patch that everyone got, and then we're I guess waiting for some more iterations now. But I mean, my only downside for PS4 is really lack of games. I mean, you comparatively speaking, I've got Killzone, and that's it. And Killzone is fantastic. I mean, I can't get enough of that story. I was never into Killzone before the PS4, so it's new franchise for me. But I'm loving it. I mean, the graphics are fantastic. Resogun, It's not
You're just
my
not
thing.
good at it. It's like Geometry Wars, which you suck at.
Yeah, well, it's just when people say like, "Hey, play Resogun, it's amazing." It's like, dude, I don't buy $300 to $400 systems to play a fucking arcade game. My brain cannot wrap around this concept of like, let me play this game that's like, dude, I got a PS4, I'm playing Pac-Man in HD. It's ridiculous.
No, but
I
see,
can't.
that's not it though. That's
Can't do
not it
it.
because I play a lot of Resogun, and I'll tell you when I play. It's you put something in on the grill, and you're gonna flip it in 10 minutes. That's enough time for a game of Resogun. That's not time for anything else. You can either sit and watch TV or you're like, hey, I'll fire up Resogun when I'm done this game. It's time to fucking pull shit off the grill. It is literally one of those short time killer games, and it is really easy to play, really easy to pick up. And if you're PlayStation Plus, it's free.
No, yeah, and I got it for free too, so I'm not complaining. I did play it. I mean, it's just that those games for me fall into that app realm, and if I'm gonna play a game like that, I'm gonna fucking get on my iPhone while I'm cooking and just play a little Candy Crush. Look at that Candy Crush. Done. So I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, both systems to
love them both.
To wrap it up, yeah. I mean, so you're not disappointed with either of them. There are shortcomings, but you'd say overall you're pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm happy with both purchases. I'm sure a lot of these things are going to be worked out over time, and even if they never were, none of them are so bad that they would make me be like, oh fuck, I made a mistake. I didn't even have any like true. Well, I guess the Injustice is 1080p 60 frames a second on the PS4, but I don't have any PS4 exclusive new game yet because I'm waiting for the next Uncharted.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of games down the pike there. Well, even on the Xbox side, like I'm playing a multi-platform game. I'm playing fucking Call of Duty. Like I'm waiting for those next gen platform specific titles that are in my genre, which are first person shooters on the Xbox and usually the third person adventure games on the PlayStation. So once those come out, I'll be happy, but there's nothing that makes me sad about these purchases at all.
No, I'm not mad. I mean, like, again, I really want this friends list thing to be cleaned up, but I don't think that's going to... The good thing about Microsoft, at least this time around, is they seem to be more vocal about listening to the community. Whether that translates into fast iteration times, I don't know. But, I mean, they've already kind of said, yeah, we know we fucked up or don't have everything there for doing the party system stuff, and we'll get to it and blah, blah, blah. So, obviously, everyone needed to get their system out, both companies, before Christmas. There's really you can't wait another year, and you're certainly not going to do a console launch in January or February. So, at some point, they just got to say, yeah, we promised a bunch of features. We'll get to them. Just buy the system and shop and play some games. Yeah, so,
they're going to come.
Good. They'll be there.
All right. Well, on that, Jay, why don't we meander over into what we're playing? What have you been playing these last 2 weeks, Jay?
I got into the EOS beta, so I played that for a weekend. That is the Elder Scrolls Online beta.
Oh my god, we all got in that. It was like the launch weekend of the Xbox. Who's gonna fucking play that?
I played it all weekend because I was like, I wanted to give EOS a chance because I didn't want to miss the opportunity to see how this game would roll out. They were stupid as fuck doing it at that weekend. I have no idea why they did that. And I hate to say this, it was horrible. So,
well, that's what we thought about at E3 this year.
We saw it at E3. We were like, oh, I mean, when me and Tiff saw it, we saw it the second time we had seen it, like where they had really gone a little bit more into it and how it was going to be. It was so much
worse.
I mean, I hate saying this because I don't want to like totally slam the game, but it is one of the worst MMOs I've ever played. And a lot of that comes from the fact that there is nothing new here that's never been done before. There is nothing in this game. And the problem is you cannot help but draw your mind to Skyrim, or all the other Morrowind games, and how fantastic they were graphically and how well that game played and how great that universe is. And then you take a piece of shit and then you just smear it across the game. Yeah. And then on top of that, you're like, oh yeah, and give me $15 a month too. Give me some money to play that. It's not good. So to wrap it up, the combat is extremely clunky. There's no targeting system. The quests are extremely boring and linear. The worlds, however, look amazing. They did a fantastic job with art. So there is a way around this if they get back to combat and get back to the core gameplay. But overall, I would give Elder Scrolls Online a 4 out of 10 if I was going to rate it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that. So Consequently, I actually ended up buying Call of Duty, which I said I would never do because Elder Scrolls Online drove me to be like, fuck it, I gotta play something. And so I ended up playing Call of Duty last week as well. So those were my 2 games. I was driven back into fucking Infinity Ward's arms by the evil beast that is Elder Scrolls Online. So
Nice. I wish you told me you were playing Call of
yeah,
Duty.
no,
So
I know.
I'm
It was on a whim, and my brother was, banging my
of
ear.
course,
about
I see
getting-
him
yeah,
on all the time.
all
yeah,
the
so.
time. So what about you?
Well, I played a bunch of Injustice, with Tiff and I and 4 kids here. Awesome game for the winner continues type arcade play. Just sit there and take turns beating the shit out of superheroes. Just totally awesome. Same thing with Resogun. Couple minutes here and there. I'm cooking. The kids are just like, hey, we'll play some Resogun, bounce back and forth. I played a shitload of Call of Duty Ghosts, played through the single player campaign. I had forgotten how good Infinity Ward is with campaigns and pacing and breaking up the different missions in it and telling that fucking Michael Bay-esque story that by the end you're just like, oh my fucking God, this is amazing. Like they do a really good job with that. No matter how you feel about the multiplayer, their campaigns are fucking bar none the best of all the Call of Duty games. I've been playing a bunch of multiplayer in that now, trying to dial shit in, playing a whole bunch of different game types. And also I've been playing some of those weird horde type game types, the horde mode, like Extinction, where you're fighting waves of aliens and some other stuff. All kinds of stuff buried in there. You could, no matter what type of game you like to play, that Call of Duty has it all in there. I also picked up Power Star Golf on a whim. Yeah, and that's actually been surprisingly cool. It's like we said, like Outlaw Golf, not quite as raunchy, not quite as over the top, but power ups. It's it's a $20 game, and you play through and the way that it's an RPG, so you level up and you get XP, and the way that you get new clubs and new balls and new unique abilities and all this other shit is as you play through, you get money, and then you can buy decks of cards with the money of various your whites, your greens, your purples, your oranges. And those are guaranteed to give you some certain number of cards of certain levels, and you build up all your arsenal of weaponry that way. You either get skills for yourself, your golfer, you get them for your caddy. You can play with your friends, can share their caddies online, and when you use their caddy, they get XP for you using it, and you get to share their caddies' fucking perks, whether it's slowing down that bar, the start, stop bar. Like you can slow that down 20% with some of these skills. So it's a fun game, and I played a lot of it. The kids all played a whole bunch of it this weekend. I know Tiff's upstairs playing it right now. And actually, speaking of playing games on the Xbox One in particular, something we finally did learn in our house now is that there is an advantage to whatever Microsoft has done with licensing. So what we do now is both Tiff and I have one of the Xboxes says our primary Xbox, and if we make all of our purchases, whoever's going to play upstairs makes their purchases on that Xbox. Both people get to play for one price.
That's really nice.
Yes, we didn't realize this at first. Before we bought 2 copies of Call of Duty, and then we figured this out. So for example, and you can change your primary Xbox at any time. So you could be like, well, now we don't want the one in the basement to be the one that anybody can go down and play on. We wanted that to be the one upstairs in the family room. Well, you can just change your primary Xbox, and then that becomes the one that you don't have to be logged in to play your content on. So you can make those changes on a whim. But really what we do is, if Tiff's going to be the one playing upstairs and I'm going to play the games down here, she'll buy them up there. This is her primary Xbox. I download it down here. Now I play for free. She plays for free, and everybody wins. So I know at this point it's probably weird to say you're multi Xbox One household, but if you are one, there is a savings ability if you know how to play with that. This is my primary Xbox versus secondary Xbox thing.
Wow, that's pretty nice. Interesting.
Yeah. Yes. So moving forward, we just cut all our game costs in half because we're also all downloadable. All of the drives in our PS4 and both Xbox Ones, they're all virgin pussies.
Exactly.
Fucking no cherries pop there. No discs.
No discs will enter any of these slots. There's a no disc in slot zone.
I'm going to enter next gen with a virgin puss Xbox and a virgin puss PS4.
So you can't play both of those copies at the same time, though, right? Because it's still one license. So if you're playing...
No, you can.
You can?
Yeah.
Even multiplayer?
Actually, that's the one thing we haven't tried yet because I guess we could play. We could try. My homework for next episode is we'll try Power Star Golf because that's only one copy of that. I can't see why you wouldn't be able to, but we will try that out and I'll get back to you on that.
That'll be interesting.
For single player play at least, or for playing in multiple rooms. And also the kids have all been playing. We bought Lego Marvel, and they play that upstairs and downstairs, but that once again doesn't have any multiplayer component.
Right.
So we will try.
That'll be cool.
That's my homework is to try some multiplayer in a game, specifically Power Star Golf. I'll play in one room, do an online multiplayer game with Tiff in the other room, and see what happens.
Done. Love it.
Yep. All right. Woo. Well, now I get my break because usually this is when I go into the new releases. But, this was the point of the year where if there was a new release to be had, you put it out just before the PS4 came out or that week, or just before the Xbox One came out or that week. If you were going to release a title the week after, you missed out on all those launch sales. And now we're 2 weeks after, and there are once again no new releases out this week. It just doesn't make sense. Like if you were going to have a title out now, you would have busted ass and had your employees work extra long just to get it out 2 weeks ago because people were buying titles with the consoles. People aren't like now going like, oh, what else can I get? No, they made their purchases. So there are zero new releases.
No releases. So we'll move on over. Let's head on over to what's interesting in gaming news. And before I do, I want to do one more side announcement. Waiting for approval, but we are going to have a iPhone app for Tool to Play that comes out. I'm hoping by next week, as long as Apple's store approves it. It's going to be the beginning of what we're doing with the mobile and the redesign with Tool to Play. But essentially what it's really going to be there for is you'll be able to get push notifications for our news, especially our videos, watch the videos inline in the app, and then pretty much a very cut down version of a read only of our forums as well. We're going to play with that as we go. But so news and information all through push notifications through your iPhone. And then from there, we'll probably move into Android and other devices. So you guys were asking for it. There will be a app very, very soon, hopefully within the next week. And so keep an eye out for that. So with that said, moving on to gaming news.
First story.
Xbox One has exceeded 1 million in the first 24 hours. And this is via joystick. And as you guys know, the PS4 did this as well on its launch. So this is really, really good news for both people. The Xbox One, which launched in 13 different markets Thursday night and Friday morning at midnight, has already been snatched up by over 1 million people in its first 24 hours of availability. That's $500 million for you math whizzes. The Microsoft sales trumpet announced the news in a press release, which confirms that all consoles are sold directly to customers and not to retailers. This is very important. This just means that actual people purchased 1 million of these mofos. Pretty good stuff. This figure also surpasses the day one sales of the Xbox 360, marking a milestone for the Xbox division at Microsoft. For Sony and now Microsoft, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think?
I think I predicted this in episode 8 or 7 or whatever it was. Someone said I think it was Altius who asked who's going to be the next big winner or whatever. And I said, you know what? No one's going to be a winner until April. No matter what they have, they're going to sell. And that's when we're finding it. There's going to be stock on shelves that's dead stock, and that's when we're really going to see who's pulling ahead and who's not. So I'm really happy that both companies were able to produce this much, and whether it's they sent extra guys with whips down to Foxconn in China or whatever they did to get this many consoles out is impressive because they both have created a significant number more units than they did in the last generation. Microsoft twofold, Sony fourfold, and they sold that shit out in fucking 24 hours, and it's still sold out. And GameStop is reporting like a 2 million person waiting list for PS4s, and but by this point, people who were getting Xbox One realize that that's not the way to go, and theirs is like 1 million something deep. There's waiting lists everywhere else. People are on pre-order lists. This is so good for gaming. This is so good for the gaming industry. This is such a good sign that all the naysayers that said the fucking industry's in a slump and nobody... No, you know what nobody wanted? Old shit. People wanted fucking new shit, and they are lining up to spend their fucking Obama stole my money shit to fucking spend whatever they have left on these things. So you know what? this is a good sign for the industry. It's a good sign for gaming in general.
Yeah, and one of the, just to reiterate, I mean, the big thing that people are saying was, well, yeah, Sony only launched in one country and we did 13. This always comes down to manufactured units. They only have a certain amount of units available. It doesn't matter. Who knows if Microsoft had 2 million units available at launch? We don't know what that window would have looked like. They could have sold 2 million units. And this goes back to like what a lot of people are saying too. Yeah, they shattered their numbers from Xbox 360 and of course the PS3. But again, when they launched those systems, they had less than 300,000 units to sell. And they sold out of those. So there's really no way to know or gauge how great this is for the industry overall, because the bottom line is we've never had this many units available for sale. It just means that these companies are finally realizing that they need to make a shitload of product because a lot of people want product on launch. That's it, right? If you want to look at it just by numbers alone, yes, it seems very impressive, but they've never had 1 million to sell. So we don't know. Very, very early, like me and Derek have been saying for forever, we're not going to really know for probably a year or so what this race, if you will, really looks like. Until they get more shit on the store shelves, we're looking at a great job from both companies. And that's, fanboyism aside, this is good. This is good for gaming. You should be happy about this. This means developers make money. This means they can pay their family or feed their families. This means more video games. It's good stuff. Period.
Exactly.
Done. All right. Next story, and this one is for LB, because this is tailor-made for him. Twitch is in a tizzy following an inappropriate, and many inappropriate, I should say, PS4 live streams, and this is via Gamasutra. So the video game streaming service Twitch, which we are currently on, has been forced to heavily moderate streaming content on the newly launched PS4 console after some users have been abusing the video capture functionality to broadcast explicit images. In fact, we've seen some boobies coming out of the woodwork, which is good for gaming as well. User-generated videos will only become more pervasive as next-generation consoles have all this functionality built in, which means there's no barrier to entry. Situations like this will only become more of a headache for companies whose businesses rely on recording and streaming of all game-related videos. The Twitch functionality on the PS4s allow users to stream gameplay to the internet for others to watch. However, the game Playroom also allows users to stream live video from their living room. Uh-oh. As reported by Kotaku, this has led to some users abusing this functionality to stream unseemly images, and Twitch, of course, has been cracking down by banning these users who are broadcasting these images. Quote, we will continue to moderate accordingly to our terms of service. Non-gaming related content is not allowed, the company said in a series of tweets. Quote, if you're using the PS4 Playroom, the content must be about games or gaming and within the terms of service. And I saw a post recently about a guy who got banned who essentially was on there in the Playroom stripping his wife naked, until she was fully butt naked, and it went on for like 2 hours, and it was on Twitch. What do you think about this? We saw this coming, right? We've discussed this with Uno back in the Kinect days, how Uno became a game of titties and not a game of Uno. So this is not surprising to me.
At least Uno, the most people that saw your fucking junk were 3 other people. What this did is this took it took the barrier of entry away. If you wanted to be someone that wanted to forget Twitch because it's supposed to be video games. So let's say you took Justin TV. And you were going to go on there and you were going to secretly do a fucking sex broadcast or something else. The barrier to entry of that was you figuring out how to get your streaming software working, getting a webcam, getting all this set up. You needed some basic level of knowledge. Now you're at the point where anyone from Arkansas or Tennessee can fucking fire up their console. They don't need to, they barely know what fucking day of the week it is, and they can stream online with one touch of a button. This is going to happen. And no offense to using Arkansas and Tennessee, y'all, but
wow,
right, that might have been offensive.
That was offensive.
Yeah, but for those of you in the inbred states, you can now stream without any knowledge of the internet or computers or really anything. Your console does it with one button. It even lets you create your own Twitch account right there. So we all saw this coming. It was only a matter of time. And the barrier of entry has been set so low that anybody can start streaming. And of course, the first thing that everybody wants to stream is fucking sex and nudity. It's human nature. We love tits.
Who doesn't? Come on.
Who doesn't? Yes. So not surprising. But I'm surprising that it is surprising that Twitch now has to sit around and fucking look at every fucking
Yeah, they
stream
need a full-time
that's flagged
Twitty
with
captain
from
or titty
PS4,
captain,
and they're like,
yeah.
oh, here's another. Okay, this one's actually a game. Okay, here's a playroom. Better keep our eyes on this one there, bub. Golly gee, here's
Oh
a
my God, here we
playroom from
go.
Arkansas. Oh, look at my wife over there. There are 2 teeth and her 2 tits. They match.
At least she's
All
got.
right,
At
that
least
was
she's got
not
2.
polite.
At least she's got 2. Yeah, I just find it ironic that like we haven't seen like the PC gaming community. We don't see titties. It's like the console gamers brings this whole breed of people that because of the simplicity of it, it brings simple people. Let's say it that way. How about that?
Well, that's what I
Simplicity
was trying to
brings
say,
simple
like,
people.
using certain states. But really, the other portion that why people don't do it as much on the PC is the PC is usually a one person in front of a camera situation. This thing is like, yeah, I'm gonna boom in your fucking room, baby. I'm gonna show your whole room, and that's really what it's about. It's showing your couch. Nobody has a camera, their webcam facing their couch. Well, maybe some perverted fuckers do, but most people don't have their webcam facing their couch. You have it in your wherever your computer's set up. It's facing a desk chair in your computer. Like here, hey, what's up? Like it's not the usual setup to have a camera in your living room. And I think that as soon as you have something you can lie down on, it changes the dynamic a little bit.
You're probably right. Yeah. All right, moving right along since we've got a lot of shows to still cover. Job listing is pointing to a next-gen, open-world Star Wars video game. As if there weren't enough Star Wars video games in the world, one more is coming your way. A recent job listing posted by Electronic Arts indicated that an open-world Star Wars game is in fact in development. One of the listings is seeking an animator director for EA Canada, is for a major, quote, next-gen open-world action game, end quote, in the beloved sci-fi property. The same description is listed for an executive producer position and, of course, a lead combat designer position at the studio as well, which has linked to the Star Wars property by a former recruiter for the publisher on Twitter. So the concept of an open-world Star Wars game is, of course, not new. If you've been following anything about it, you've probably been hearing about a couple games that got canceled by by Disney. And of course, the Just Cause developer Avalanche Studios nearly signed with LucasArts to develop this said game or a game like it in 2005 and 2009. The game that was canceled by LucasArts was, of course, Star Wars 1313, which was reportedly being developed as an open world game as well via Disney, but they closed that developer down and halted the game's development in April, which sucks because it actually looked amazing.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. So EA obtained the exclusive rights to develop and publish Star Wars games in May, and later announced a new DICE-developed Star Wars Battlefront game at E3, which, by the way, is orgasmic in nature for someone like me that loves the fucking series. I can't wait. And it is expected to arrive around hopefully mid-2015. The publisher also recently claimed that it will not pursue, and this is a good thing as well, any games that are based on the new movies in the series. Good job, guys. So what are your thoughts on an open-world Star Wars game?
We've all been waiting for it.
Sure.
And, unfortunately, the odds are stacked against it just coming out of the gate. But you know what? Some things break the odds. Like, people said that about Borderlands. The first Borderlands was coming out. They're like, a new fucking cel-shaded first-person shooter RPG? That's a new IP? Fuck that. Look at Borderlands now. You know what I mean? So sometimes people don't see the brilliance in something until it comes out. I think people have been waiting a long time for some quality Star Wars properties. And if someone's going to do it, it's going to be EA.
I agree. And I know everyone does like this shit on pretty much anything that comes out for Star Wars. But Battlefront was fucking amazing. If you tell me it wasn't, I just won't believe you. And I'll come to your house and I'll shit on your property. I don't care. So it is possible, I guess is what I'm saying, to create a good Star Wars IP. It just takes a lot of luck. I mean, obviously, they've been beating this IP into the ground since the day we were little boys. So, chances are it could fail, but that's pretty much true for any video game. When people attach it to being a Star Wars curse, most video games suck, let's be honest. So to strike it good with a video game, doesn't matter what your IP is, it just has to be a good fucking game. That's it. Yep. So let's hope for the best. EA,
fingers crossed.
EA makes some good games. A lot of people want to shit on EA, but you usually do that while you're playing Battlefield 4 and happily lapping up anything they shove down your throats. So shut the fuck up. Don't pretend. Mm-hmm. All right, next story. Next story is, of course, the PS4 related story, which is 1/3 of all PS Plus subscriptions actually came during the PS4 launch, week, which is pretty fucking impressive. So one third of all PlayStation Plus subscribers sold by GameStop in its lifetime came in the week of the PlayStation 4's launch. GameStop president Tony Bartel revealed this during the retailer's third quarter earnings call. GameStop reported that 8.6% increase in its digital sales for the quarter, contributing to its overall 18.8% sales increase. Likewise, the retailer sold through its reservations and some additional allocated PS4 units during that week as well. Bartel said that, quote, when you look at all of the PlayStation Plus subscribers that we've sold in our lifetime as a company, we've been selling them for years, mind you, a full 1/3 of those subscribers we all sold in our lifetime were sold in the last 7 days at GameStop. The retailer began selling PSN content in its stores November 2010 when it started offering PS Plus subscriptions and download codes for games and add-on content. GameStop pointed out during the investor call that the PlayStation Network is a big part of Sony's future, and the company plans to continue to be part of that future. Quote, we're working very closely with Sony to make sure that we are partnered with them and that we're giving them the consumer feedback and working closely to make sure we have a great product there, end quote. That's what Bartel said. It's unknown if it's much of an impact Sony's launch day deal had on the subscription sales for GameStop for the week, in which players that purchased a year subscription of PlayStation Plus received a $10 credit in the PSN store. The deal was good enough, though, the deal was good through Best Buy and Newegg as well. Is this a wow moment? I mean, is this a big deal to have this happen or no?
I think that's insane. If you think of all the years PlayStation Plus, imagine if this was written for Xbox Live. Imagine if you said, there were 1/3 of all Xbox Live subscriptions were sold in the launch week of the Xbox One. That would be an insane story. It's just because so few people gave a shit about PlayStation Network that PS Plus is actually a decent thing. You get a couple free games, you get all these discounts. They give you legitimate AAA launch titles for free. And a lot of people never saw the benefit in this. But to sell 1/3 of them just during the launch week compared to the last, 3 years? That's an insane amount of sales.
But I don't feel like this is very insane to me. I mean, the problem is you didn't need PlayStation Online to play video games before, and now it's a requirement to play online. So why is this even a story?
Well, because it just shows how many people didn't take advantage of it on their PS3s.
I suppose. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, now it's, hey guys, let's all pat ourselves on the back. We have this thing that's essentially required, and people bought it. That feels really like, I don't know, it's cheesy to me.
It is self-referential.
It's
in
self-referential,
some ways, but,
yeah.
But at the same time, it just goes to show that their marketing was wrong. The same thing they said all along, where they were saying, you can play online on the Sony PS3 for free, and Xbox makes you pay for it, and that's wrong, and we're right. Well, you know what? I guess Xbox was right, because now you sold a shitload of shit in a fucking week that you couldn't sell in 3 years.
You just made a ton of money for pretty much like for free. I mean, really. Because again, most people are willing to pay $50 a year. They don't care. It's $50 a year. Yep. Like over the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. And so it's not like there's not a lot of barrier to entry. And I guess that's why, like, as a news item, I'm just like, well, yeah, I'm not going to buy Killzone and then just not fucking play it online. That's retarded. So of course I'm going to have it. I will agree. The features that come with the PlayStation Online in terms of like the AAA titles and stuff, very good. Very good shit. So I'm happy with it. Overall, I think it's a good thing. But yeah. Anyway,
I would concur. And since we're running along this week, I know that there's a million what the fuck stories in the gaming world. Yeah. But I think we'll hold off this week just to make sure this episode still fits in within our roughly an hour, give or take a few minutes time frame. And why don't we jump over in the mailbag and voicemails, Jay? Kieran Orion asks, do you think that Microsoft and Sony have missed a real chance for convergence in the new gen? I have an Xbox One, but want to play Killzone and the other Sony exclusives. I want PS4 players to play Forza and Dead Rising. Why not have one universal box that plays all games, but with different minor features? For example, the Sony box might have a better controller, or the Microsoft box might have better social media integration. This would broaden the software market for both, while still allowing room for competition and innovation. If I understand correctly, Steam Box will work like this.
I was going to say, let me just answer you right away. This box exists. It has existed for years. It's called a PC? Fucking computer, people. Why is this hard to understand? If you want to play all games with all people all the time, you buy a thing called a computer. And
But
guess what?
even
Your
then, you're still
Xbox
missing your
plugs in it.
exclusives. I think that's
the
the
problem.
point here.
But those exclusive are created in an ecosystem to, for the most part, segregate, right? That's the point of having an exclusive, is to give yourself a different take on something. So it's but that's what it is.
Yeah, this would never happen. It
No.
would never, could never, will never happen. The primary reason being that these companies don't make their money on the hardware. They don't give a shit if you buy the hardware.
Yeah.
They might make not until halfway through the console's life cycle does the hardware become profitable. They make money on you buying games that are licensed for their console. So if the games were generic and nobody was taking a license fee, like PC games, that's why PC games are usually $10 to $20 cheaper, because nobody's taking a license fee off the top. That's why you can go buy the same game you buy for your Xbox for $60, you can go buy for the PC for $50, because there's no one taking that $10 cut. So if no company is taking that cut, all the software is $50. Now you're just selling two pieces of hardware that you're losing money on. This is the worst business choice you could possibly
Definitely
make.
not a good move.
I might as well just throw money out the window. That's my business now.
And realistically, too, the other thing that people fail to see is the reason they do this, too, is because they're trying to get their brand into your living room. And it almost has nothing to really do with gaming. Because, if it's really about the video games, and this is the problem, is that people always say, like, I'm all about video games. Well, if you were really just about video games, you wouldn't buy a console. You're a fucking moron if you're going to buy a console, because realistically speaking, to get the most gaming juice, like if you're all about like the fastest gaming rig, the latest, the thing that like pushes the boundaries of video games, it's a fucking PC. Period. It's a PC. In a year when you're still playing your Xbox One, PC will have moved on. It will have better graphics. It will continue to be better. That's just a fact. So this is all about getting a brand into your room. That's why when Microsoft's doing with this Kinect and make TV first, we could even say that if we want to. That's a tactic to make sure Microsoft stays in your living room. They bring an ecosystem with themselves into the living room. They don't just bring a gaming console. And it's the same with Sony. They want to say, you guys are lapping that shit up. Sony's like, it's a gaming rig. It's a gaming rig. Well, it's a gaming rig that you could also buy and rent movies from Sony every single day of the year, and music as well. That's not by like happenstance. Like, we might as well throw that in. No, it's an ecosystem. You want to buy into that ecosystem. It's not about video games. So let's stop pretending. Okay.
And Sony's even more so, because not only does Sony sell you music and movies, but Sony has Sony Pictures. The movies they sell you on the PS4, there's nobody else taking cuts from that at all. It's literally like all of your money, all to Sony,
right?
All of your money, all like that is the ultimate zero other people involved ecosystem,
right?
Like, that's really what all these things are pushing, and just because it's free for you to get Netflix, there's some kind of deal between Microsoft and Netflix. There's one between Sony and Netflix. It's beneficial to Netflix to be on there. It's beneficial to Netflix to be on the PS4. There's some kickback to the console maker there. No, the hardware is not it. The hardware is immaterial. Nobody gives a shit about the hardware. They'll take the loss on that to make up on the movies, the music, the game licenses, the app licenses. It's everything else is where they make their money.
It's why you see things like Skype on the ecosystem and all. Like, you want it, now you can use Skype on our Xbox. Well, maybe you never use Skype on the PC, but now you can pay a monthly fee to be a part of Skype through your Xbox One. All of these things are there to service you, to get you hooked into the ecosystem, be a part of Microsoft, be a part of Sony, and start spending dollars. That's all it is. If you want to be a gamer and you don't want to adhere to this shit, you buy a PC and you sit in a room and you learn to use a mouse and keyboard. Or hey, guess what? Xbox 360 controllers work with USB straight on your PC. So
does the PS4.
So does the PS4. There's no excuse to not use a PC unless you do want some of these features. That's the thing, is no matter what you
want
say,
some of these super exclusive games. That's
right.
Those are the only two things.
Those are your reasonings. That's why you're doing it. Period. If you want ease of use, sure, I get that too. But again, you've got to buy into that ecosystem. That's part of the deal. So there you go, buddy. That's why.
All right. And LTS asks, in fairness to last week's question, what are you enjoying most about your Xbox Ones? Please compare and contrast your feelings on both. Well, I think we covered this at the top of the show.
Yeah.
We talked about everything we love, and we skeeted about on the Xbox One and the PS4. We talked about things that were anti-skeet that kind of made you go limp dick for the Xbox One and PS4. So I think we've covered this, LTS. If not, give us a follow-up question next week. You seem to be the most reliable person on all of the internet, and you give us a question each and every week.
Yeah.
We should practically pay you to be
should. Some kickback.
the showrunner.
Altius is the Netflix, and we are Xbox One.
True
welcome.
facts.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, if any of you feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooletplay.com. You can also comment on this episode in the thread in the Tool to Play homepage. Sponsors, remember, we're still looking for some sponsors. Hit us up, same number, 773-527-2961. Email us, podcast@tooletplay.com. Tell us what you're selling. We'll tell you what you're going to pay us. You'll pay us. We'll sell it. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related is at twitter.com/still_gut_game. I, king of the internet, god of everything that's fucking holy, am at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And you can find me over at twitter.com/dude_I_rock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/Tool to Play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/dude_I_rock.
Also, please sign up fucking for our YouTube channel. Like, I know you can go there, subscribe to it. It's super easy. We put out this show every week. There's Thick and Thin that comes out some random days whenever LB's not doing some other stuff.
Right.
We have hits, quick hits or quick shits or whatever he calls his stuff now. We got all these other, one-off shows. All this content is out there, and if you just want to know when this content is, as soon as it shows up, all you have to do is subscribe on YouTube. It doesn't even do anything. It's not like it's pushing it to your phone. You're not downloading. It's not using your space. It costs you nothing to do. Go there, subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, please rate and review the podcast in iTunes. It's there. We need reviews. Give us 5 stars. Tell people we're gods. Tell people we're awesome. Tell people why you like the show. And hopefully that'll bring more people in, which makes everything better for everybody. The more people that participate with us, the better everything is. And speaking of participating, if you join us live each and every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Tool to Play, you too can jump in chat, which now for those of you listening, you don't see this, but a lot of the show is driven from chat. Like we take chat's comments, we integrate them into what we're talking about. We make sure the show rolls with, we're not leaving them there stranded. And if you join us, you can be part of it too. You can hop in there, let your thoughts be known. And when I'm talking, Jay's feeding that fucking chat channel. He's typing in there. No. When he's talking, I'm in there giving people feedback. We're bringing it into the show, and you too can be part of each and every episode. And you can help us out, and we'll help you out, and hopefully you'll feel more part of the show that way. Now, I want to remind everybody, well, this is actually the first time I'm going to tell you. Next week, no new episode. I'm going to be out in Seattle next week during the Monday, Tuesday time frame, so there will be no episode next week, Jay.
I will be in Florida as well.
Well, that's good.
So
That's good to know. Thanks for filling me in, asshole.
Glad I could tell you that now, live on the show. There's a scheduling conflict for me as well.
Next week at this time, I will be... not only will be in Seattle, but I will be having some dinner with our friend Eric Neustadter, from Xbox,
Nice.
Director of Architecture and Operations, whatever he is. But he and I have some dinner plans next Monday. So I am there briefly, fly in Sunday night, there Monday, there Tuesday, take a red eye home Tuesday, and show up first thing, like early morning for my birthday on next Wednesday. It is it's a hell of a few days, but it'll be a good time. So I'm out there for a couple days, just chilling out there, doing some work stuff. So we'll be back 2 weeks from tonight. So that would be Monday the 16th. Monday the 16th, we'll be back live. And, for those of you that listen, there's going to be a week gap in the YouTube channel or when you listen to us on iTunes.
Good deal.
All right.
Good deal.
Well, on that, Jay, why don't we wrap this episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
We had a lot of shit to be thankful for this year at Thanksgiving.
Goddamn right.
Xbox.
PS4.
Xbox.
PS4.
Xbox. I wanted to go 3 on that, but I couldn't do it. You nailed it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You stuck the landing.